All right, it looks like we're live, doesn't it? All right, hey everybody, welcome to our live Q&A for March. We are so excited that you are here joining us tonight. We have tons of questions, so let's get right into it. I'm so thankful to all of you who are asking so many questions, and we're going to do our best tonight to answer as many as we can. As a matter of fact, we're batching as many questions as we can together that have similar topics to them. We're going to try to, cover as much as we can in an hour. If we don't get your question, hold on to it. Before I introduce my lovely moderator tonight, I just want to mention that we do this every month. So if you are joining us, we will be here every month. Once a month, we'll tell you what night it will be, typically towards the end of the month. And then every Monday at noon, I am doing a live lunch and learn on Facebook. So you can join on Facebook and we'll do about 15 minutes every Monday answering questions. So, okay, without further ado, let me introduce my moderator tonight, who is one of my lovely editors, and her name is Lexi. And she was here with us 3 Q&As ago. So, hello, Lexi.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be back.
Good to see you. All right, let's get started right away.
Yes, okay. So we can jump in. As Chris mentioned, we're batching a few of these common themes together. So the first question for you, Chris, is what are the best exercises for belly fat? I know that's a popular one.
Well, we were just discussing the fact before we came live that has been a question every single Q&A. It's actually a question probably at every event I go to. It's pretty common. Why not? Because as we get older, all of a sudden we're like, oh my goodness, I'm gaining weight and it seems to be in my middle. Especially those of us women who are in those menopausal years, we're like, why? Women always say, why is my middle thickening? So part of it is hormones, okay? But let's talk about some of the things that can cause belly fat. First of all, stress is a huge contributor to belly fat. And we have a blog on Get Healthy You called Can Stress Cause Belly Fat? And it talks all about the stress hormone cortisol, that when you have high levels of cortisol in the system, unfortunately, it is often the cause of belly fat. Another problem is when you're stressed, you particularly many people tend to eat junk food. And junk food is typically highly processed white flour. And highly processed white flour turns to sugar in your bloodstream. And when it goes through your digestive system. And when you've got way too much sugar in your system, insulin kicks in and goes, holy cow, we got too much sugar in the blood. And insulin, remember this, is the fat storing hormone. So what it does is it grabs all that extra sugar out of your blood system and it's stored as fat, typically as belly fat. So stress can be a huge cause of it, and then junk food. Lexi, just because we have this question, I wanted to say one more thing to anyone who's listening. White processed flour and sugar they react the same way in your body. So you could eat a bowl of cornflakes with no sugar, or you could eat a bowl of sugar with no cornflakes, and they are going to react in your system identically. White processed flour turns sugar immediately in your system, and that constant rise of blood sugar in your body is a large cause of belly fat. Did I even answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got so passionate about the causes of belly fat. I wanted to make sure that was a question.
Next question, another popular one. What are the best foods to eat before and after a workout? And I see another one that just popped up that said, kind of similar, I'm in my late 50s training for a half marathon for the first time. What should I eat before and after my runs?
Okay, good question. We get this question every time too, and for a good reason. So here we go. Before your workout, you want to eat something that's going to be quickly converted into energy. So what is energy? Calories are energy. What quickly converts? Simple sugars. So now I'm not talking about eating a big old candy bar, but things that are easily digestible and can supply glucose to your system, because glucose is typically the main energy source when you're exercising at a moderate to high intensity. Things like a banana. I'm a huge fan of bananas. Why? For me personally, I love the potassium, which is good for preventing muscle cramping. But I also love bananas because they're easy on the gut. I mean, they're easy to digest, and they're a quick source of glucose. A piece of toast, perhaps even with a little protein on it, that would be fine, like a nut butter or something. A bowl of oatmeal, some form, a fruit smoothie that has, fruit in it, and potentially something like almond milk. You got to be careful with dairy before you exercise. A lot of people, that doesn't sit well. But, you know, we have an article that is super popular that's called, "Do Bananas Actually Make You Fat?" Because the answer to that is no. Anybody who is afraid to eat bananas, I want you to look around at all of the super fit athletes and see what they're eating. They're eating bananas. So that's before the workout. Now, after the workout, you want to ingest protein, carbs, and healthy fat, but mostly protein to feed those muscles. Or I should say, not mostly protein, but make sure you got protein after the workout. Think of your muscles like sponges, and they're all ready to absorb in that protein after a workout and help you repair quickly, prepare for the next workout, and reduce, you know, muscle achiness and soreness and all that good stuff, and help you build muscle. So typically you want protein and carbs in a 3 to 1 grams. So 3 grams of carb for every 1 gram of protein would work. Like a protein smoothie after a workout is a great one. Maybe you have some blueberries or banana in there, a scoop of protein, some almond milk, or some coconut water or something. That would be a great one. Something like avocado, which is a healthy fat, along with a source of protein, maybe a handful of nuts. Hard-boiled eggs, along with some sort of, like, maybe you have some special crackers that are whole grain that you want to eat. So some sort of protein and carb. But before the workout, something that easily converts, is easy on the stomach, and it'll give you energy, some form of glucose. And then after, protein for sure, mixed with carbs and a little bit of fat, healthy fat. By the way, we have articles at Get Healthy You all about this. You can Google any of this, like what, you know, snacks before and after workout, and it'll come up.
Love it. Several people have commented on having a particular injury, or they've recently had surgery and they're wondering how to get back into their exercise routine. We have people who either have bad knees or they just had surgery on their knees. We have someone with a shoulder injury, a sprained ankle, so all sorts of different body parts that are injured or recently had surgery. And how do you get back?
Hello. Welcome to the 50s, my friends. No, I'm kidding. As a matter of fact, as I'm sitting here, I literally contemplated, all of you who are online, putting on a short sleeve shirt because I'm seriously having a hot flash. Like, I'm dying of heat right now. I used to always be the coldest person in America, and now at about 8 o'clock at night, I am sweating profusely. My husband always says, "What the heck is going on?" This time I got water because I swear to God, I'm so hot right now, I'm about to die. But okay, back to the question. Yeah, you get a lot, you know, well, first of all, you get injuries when you're active. But let me tell you something. The other side of the coin is not attractive. To be sedentary, you come up with a lot of other problems like heart disease and diabetes and you know, liver problems and sluggish energy and blah, blah, blah. So being active is good. If you injure yourself, and it happens as we get older, first of all, sometimes it is just an injury. And you know, a lot of times I have to laugh. We get injured when we're not working out. We get injured doing something silly like, you know, carrying laundry up the stairs. I always joke about that with my friends. I'm like, okay, I did 100 lunges today, no injury, and then I trip on the stairs. That's how my knee hurts. Others of you might have achy joints. I mean, as we get older, our joints aren't as lubricated, and sometimes you think your knee is injured because it's creaky or you've got muscle stiffness. Any of you have just had surgery, like the shoulder surgery, then your doctors are putting you on some sort of a rehab program. But here's the deal. After an injury, after surgery, it's a lot of intuitive thinking. Yes, you have a doctor. Yes, you probably, some of you might have a physical therapist in some cases, but a lot of it is trial and error. And my brother is an orthopedic surgeon, and I've always called him and said, you know, my knee is really hurting me, you know, blah, 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 what should I do? And he'll say, well, when does it hurt? And I'll say, well, it hurts when I do a forward lunge. And his answer will be, don't do a forward lunge. I'm like, what? you know, duh. So his answer is always, don't do the activity that hurts you. So if you are suffering from some sort of an ankle injury or you have a sore knee, and you know, a lot of it is figuring out which moves hurt it. If something doesn't hurt it, then go ahead and do it. If something does create soreness or tenderness or you're a little timid on it, then hold back from that and work your way up to it. Like after a shoulder injury, a lot of people have to work into push-ups, and perhaps you don't do full body weight. Perhaps you go on your knees, you get your butt in the air, or you go up on a chair and you start to test it and see what your muscles and what your joints can handle. And you slowly but surely work back up to where you were at. This happens to me every spring. Just a couple weeks ago, my knee was bothering me, and I know that it's bothering me because I started doing some different activities than I do in the winter, and my quad gets super tight. that quad muscle was pulling on my knee, and I was having pain literally walking up the stairs. After I massaged out that quad every single day, I foam rolled, I did a couple different other therapeutic things, all of a sudden the pain subsided. So it's a lot of intuitive listening to your body. But here's the one thing I want to tell you, don't give up, okay? Don't give up. I have people in my classes all the time that come to me and say, today my ankle is injured, so I'm just going to do the upper body. And I'll be like, bravo, do it. Yeah, other people will come and say, you know, my right shoulder is really bugging me. I'm only going to use my left arm. It's like, we don't care. We're all here to support each other. Do whatever you can. And the key is just, you know, allow yourself to be intuitive and don't stop.
Awesome. Next question is from Thelma. She says, hi, Chris. At age 62, I am ready to begin weight training. Is there a training plan you would recommend?
You are never too late. It is never too old to begin a training program. Kudos to you, girlfriend. I love it. There's an author. Her name is Miriam Nelson. And she wrote the whole series of books, Strong Women Stay Young, Strong Women Stay Thin, Strong Women, blah, blah, blah. And she did, and you might want to even just look it up on the internet. She's an amazing woman, but she does all these studies on women who are in their 60s and 70s who take up weight training, and she literally shows like a dissection of their thigh and their arm and shows the growth of their muscle, and get this, the growth of their bone mass from weightlifting. So you're doing yourself a really good favor. How do you get started? Well, I mean, at GHUTV, we have some really good strength programs. Move to Lose has upper body, lower body, total body, 10-minute workouts that you could start with. Walk and Tone, I put that program together for those of you who are either A, getting started, or B, are, you know, feeling like your joints and muscles are aging and you just want to kind of ease into it. So those are two good programs. Definitions is a little more intense, I would say, but everything that you do, you know, listen to your body. If I'm using 10-pound weights and you are just starting, there's no shame in using 3-pound weights. There's no problem in using 5-pound weights. What I want you to do is do the best that you can. So those are some suggestions in Get Healthy UTV. I do suggest, though, that you look up Miriam Nelson. She has this unbelievable attitude for helping women as we age stay strong. So check out her book series.
All right, another one, and this is another popular one I know you get. It's from Christine. She says, I am so stuck. I have about 10 pounds left to lose. Why is it so difficult to get off those last 10 pounds, and what can I do to get past this hurdle?
Aha. What was her name?
Christine.
Christine. How could I forget that? That's my name. Hello. Christine, guess what? That is the hardest 10 pounds. And you know what? We have an ebook coming called How to Lose the Last 10 Pounds, because that is the hardest. And a lot of it is what you're eating. A lot of it is what you're doing. Okay, I know everybody knew that, but a lot of it is right up here. It's kind of overcoming that hurdle and figuring out how to get, you know, to that next level. So I don't know what you eat, but when you're getting down to those last 10 pounds, it's really fine-tuning, reducing, like I was just talking about, white flour, any kind of processed flour. That is just the killer for most of us in America. Any kind of added sugars. I'm not talking natural sugar. There is no problem with fruit, and I'll tell you why. When you combine sugar with fiber, it reacts completely differently than just plain old sugar or white flour in the body. You need to take the intensity level up. Again, I don't know what you are doing, but I was just conversing with a friend of mine that said, hey, she was kind of in that boat where she just wanted to take off a good 5 pounds, and how could she do it? So I looked at her weekly routine and I said, you know what? You probably should have like at least 3 high intensity days where you're really kind of pushing yourself, burning up those calories, challenging that heart rate, using those muscles to really maximize, you know, your not only your caloric deficit, but also to build muscle faster. So hopefully those things help. The other thing is just mentally, you know, really committing to positive thinking and reducing your stress and really, you know, feeling like a lot of kind thoughts. I mean, I know it sounds, to many of you, you might think that sounds silly, but positive self-talk changes like a whole lot of what's going on inside of us. So look for that ebook. It's coming. We hope to have it ready for sale by July. I'd like to say June, but it might be July, maybe June. So stay tuned, because the last 10 pounds are the hardest.
Okay, next question from Suzanne. She says, Chris, what is your daily workout schedule? How many days of strength, cardio, low impact, etc.?
Ooh, good question. Hey, do you guys see my water bottle? It says not vodka. Is that hilarious? This is water. It's not vodka. I got it at this amazing spin club. It was I thought it was awesome. That's all their water bottles say that. Okay. So back to the question, what's my routine? All right, well, let's see. I teach 8 classes a week, okay, when I'm home. I do travel a lot, so then I have my wonderful coworkers who sub for me. But for instance, today I taught a boot camp at 5:30 and a spin class at 9. However, here's the deal. I don't typically do 2 hours of exercise a day. Sometimes when I'm coaching like a boot camp, I'm not really working out, which is kind of funny because sometimes my participants are like, easy for you to tell us to do that, and then in my spin class, I worked really hard today. I typically work out 6 days a week. When I'm traveling, sometimes it's 5 days a week. I kind of have a rule where I say never more than 2 days in a row without a workout. Sundays are kind of my lax day where I just walk with girlfriends, and I don't mean to say just walk because walking is great exercise, but it's not a high intensity day for me. I do weights on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays in my class. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Well, I really shouldn't throw Thursday in there because that's the boot camp. I don't do a lot of weights. So I would say I do weights Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Those are my 3 days. Occasionally, I will do them on Monday. And when I say I do weights, the classes that are in Get Healthy You, those are really modeled after my live classes. So I'm doing high intensity. For instance, on Tuesdays, I teach pyramid power. So there is a pyramid power in Power 20. On Wednesdays, I teach a circuit class. We have lots of circuits in Get Healthy UTV. On Thursday, I teach boot camp in the morning and then spinning. On Friday, I teach kickboxing in the morning. So tomorrow morning, I'm teaching kickboxing, which is my cardio day. That's the only day I do straight cardio on Friday. And then on Saturday, I teach high intensity intervals. Anyway, I hope that answers it. So I really gave you a very roundabout answer, but at least 3 days of weights, 1 day of straight cardio, sometimes 2 if I do my walking on Sundays with my girlfriends. That's low intensity cardio. And then I do a bunch of circuits and intervals to keep myself interested. I would prefer to get my heart rate up and do my weights at the same time. That's why you see so many programs from me like that, because that's what I love to do.
Great. Chantel asked, when you work out a body part with weights, some say you should wait 2 days before you work out that body part again. So when you are doing body weight exercises like push-ups or planks or lunges, can you do an exercise like that every day, or do you still have to wait 2 days in between?
That's a great question, because that has been out there in the media about 2 days in between body parts. So here's why that got out there in the media. There's something called DOMS, D-O-M-S, delayed onset muscle soreness. And if any of you have ever had a workout, on a Monday, and you feel really good on Monday, and even Tuesday you're like, I'm a little sore, but not much. But by Wednesday you're like, holy cow, I'm dying. That's that delayed onset muscle soreness. Sometimes it comes the second day, like you feel great all day Monday, you wake up Tuesday and you go, whoa, I'm so sore. So if you are extremely sore, whether it was from pushing weights or doing body weight push-ups, for instance, let's talk chest muscles. Whether I lay down on my back and I do chest presses or whether I do push-ups using my own body weight, doesn't matter how you got there, doesn't matter what kind of weight training you did, but if you are super sore to pain to the touch, like, oh my gosh, I'm so sore, then wait a day or 2 to let that body part repair, because that's your muscles talking to you, saying, you think of them like little muscle fibers, and the fibers get a little torn up, then you feed them protein and they sculpt and build. Now, let's say you do push-ups. I did push-ups today. I'm not sore. I'm used to doing push-ups. So can I do push-ups tomorrow? Absolutely. Can I do them on Saturday? Absolutely. So kind of the rule of thumb is if you are super sore from whatever you did, then give it a day or 2 to repair itself before you use that particular body part again. You can use a body part that's not sore. Or if you aren't sore, like if you're used to doing push-ups, then do them every darn day. It's all good.
Okay, another kind of common theme that we're getting is the idea of protein and how much protein do you need? Maybe what are the best sources? of protein out there. Protein powders, is that a good option? What about if you're vegan? Just all there is to know about protein.
Protein. Yes, let's talk protein. Okay, so protein feeds muscles. Amino acids. Protein is made of amino acids. Amino acids feed muscles. So you can't build muscle just by shoving protein in your mouth. Just so you know, it doesn't make muscle, but it feeds muscle. You have to build the muscle through strength training, then you feed the muscles with protein. All right, so what are good protein sources? Well, nuts and seeds. Well, let's start with the animal products. So any kind of meat, any kind of animal product like eggs, dairy has good protein, is a good protein source. Fish, chicken, poultry, pork, any of those are all good sources. Now, of course, everybody has their own way of eating. So I'm not a big red meat eater, never have been. The men in my family, they are all about red meat. So I buy grass-fed red meat. Okay, I like chicken, I like turkey, I love fish. I'm a huge fish eater. So those are all good sources of protein. Then on the dairy side, some people can't stomach dairy, they're lactose intolerant, don't eat dairy. I actually haven't drank milk in, well, I guess I'll have a milk sometimes every so often in a latte, but I'm not a big dairy eater besides Greek yogurt. I'm a huge Greek yogurt lover because I love that creaminess. But if you're not a dairy eater, try some of the like things like almond milk, cashew milk, coconut milk. And those all tend to have protein in them. Let's see, nuts and seeds I just mentioned. Those are great sources of protein. Beans, legumes have sources of protein. So there are a lot of things, and eggs. Eggs are just like, they call eggs liquid gold because they are such a good source of protein. So those are all awesome sources. Now, if you're vegan, it's still, or if you're vegetarian, you can still get a lot of sources through plant-based sources. So hemp protein, pea protein, soy protein, as long as it's non-GMO soy. Those are all good sources for those who are vegetarian or vegan. And in terms of protein powder, you don't need protein powder. Protein powder isn't a necessity in your daily diet. It's all about, do you like protein powder? If you want to supplement with it, because that's one of your protein choices, then by all means use it. For me, in the mornings, I'm often on the go. I like to have oatmeal in the morning, but if I don't have time, I always do a protein shake. And I throw some fruit, some whey protein, some almond milk into a blender. I blend it up and drink it. I love that. When it comes to how much protein do you want in your body, so the typical person uses or should eat about 1/2 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 140 pounds, you want to ingest about 70 grams of protein a day. If you want, so let's just say, an average chicken breast has about 22 grams. An egg has about 7 grams. A serving of milk usually has about 9 grams. A Greek yogurt has 15 grams. So you can see how it adds up. A scoop of protein powder has 20 grams. You can get that pretty easily. If you're super athletic, if you're super active, you might want to take that up towards 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That would be 140 grams, but that's a lot. I don't think I ever ingest quite that much protein in a day. But and then if you're, it depends. Like my boys who are athletes, my 19-year-old who plays collegiate sports, he ingests even more than that. But then again, his caloric intake is like 3 times mine, or 4 times mine. So take that all into play. Someone asked about, is unsweetened almond milk better for you than skim milk? That question is really a personal question. I don't have anything against milk. As long as, to me, it's all about safe farming practices. So as long as it's cows that haven't been ingested with hormones, milk is a fine choice. So many people are lactose intolerant. And quite frankly, you don't even need the skim milk. You could have like 1% milk or 2% milk, because we're finding out that fat is actually good for us. Unfortunately, the 1980s taught us that it wasn't. We have to unprogram our brain from thinking that. But I just don't drink a lot of milk. I tend to like the taste of almond milk, and I like the unsweetened, so that's what I buy. But I don't think it's harmful to drink milk. It's all about your own philosophies and, of course, then buying quality.
Another food question. Rosemary is wondering, what are some easy lunch ideas that you can bring to work?
Well, funny that you asked that, because Lexi, we are the queens of packing our lunch, right?
Indeed.
Yes, all the girls in our office. I'm actually surprised at our interns. Here are our college interns bringing the healthiest lunches, right? Mm-hmm. They bring such healthy food. I'm like, gosh, you guys, when I was in college, I didn't eat that healthy. So what can you bring? Well, first of all, it's all about being prepared and prepping. And we talk about meal prep. We have a lot of prepping ideas at Get Healthy You. And just for those of you who are on and kind of going, okay, wait, she keeps talking about Get Healthy You. Get Healthy You is the free website where we give tons of free advice, information, free, exercise tips, and thousands of recipes. Get Healthy You TV is where you guys work out with me. That's the website where you have the membership and all the workouts are housed there. So there's regular Get Healthy You and GetHealthyUTV.com where you get all the workouts. So on Get Healthy You, you can read about prepping. But anyway, okay, we, like for instance in our office, we bring a lot of veggies, raw veggies packed up, and then hummus, guacamole, something to dip them in. I always have, Lexi knows, like I have a Greek yogurt every day. If I didn't, you guys would probably think something was wrong with me. Like, what happened to her? She didn't have her Greek yogurt. And I put almonds and like some cacao chocolate chips in there, and that kind of satisfies my sweet tooth. And I buy the plain Greek yogurt and add just a little stevia in it. Roasted veggies, like if you roast them up the night before and then you have them in a Tupperware, I grill up chicken breasts every Sunday so that I have chicken breasts ready to just cut up and I can mix those in with roasted veggies and bring them. Let's see, hard-boiled eggs are a standard for me. I gave a great tip on hard-boiled eggs on Lunch and Learn a couple weekends ago, or a couple Mondays ago, teaching you how to make hard-boiled eggs easily. So go back to Facebook, go into the video section and look about it was either 2 or 3 Lunch and Learns ago, and you can learn how to hard-boiled eggs. Plus, we're about to put a blog up that will tell you that too. But so those are some ideas. I'm going to tell you right now that Lexi is probably the healthiest eater in our office. And every day, Lexi has this meal where we're all smelling it and going, wait, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? Because she's really a good cook. But I hope those are some good grab-and-go ideas for you. Turkey, like if you have some leftover good deli meat, I buy real turkey that they slice off the turkey breast. Bring that with you. It doesn't have to be fancy. And you'd be surprised at how veggies and like some hummus can really fill you up. And then of course fruit. Like there's nothing like sweet grapes as they're coming into season right now, or berries, or that old banana I was talking about. That is one of my favorite fruits.
Love it. Amber is asking, what are the best sports bras for higher impact activities?
Good question. Very good question. And I know, first of all, for all of us ladies, everyone's a different size up here. I have a sister who has got, huge boobs compared to me. And we always joke about it because she's like, girlfriend, you do not have to worry about the sports bra like I do, right? She has to really, she goes, that's the part of my outfit that I contemplate the most. So I know we have a blog at Get Healthy You that lists 3 or 4 companies for those of you who are luckily well endowed. There are some really good companies that make, D to F size cups that are really good. And you do want that, good fitting, comfortable bra when you're exercising. Nothing is worse. For high impact activities, depending on your cup size, there are a lot of good bras out there. And I would say like Champion makes some really good ones. And then go to this blog, because I am not remembering the names of these companies because they are not mainstream companies, but they specialize in these types of bras. We sell sports bras at Get Healthy You. I grabbed one because this was one of our pre-done questions, and I'm just going to hold it up right here. And these bras right here have pads in them that come out. I never take the pads out. I wash mine with them in, but these are good for up to a real big B or a small C, okay? And I am wearing the nude one underneath my shirt. I wear one every day because I don't like a bra that has a clasp anymore. I never wear a bra with a clasp. I always wear like some sort of a sports bra. And so these are good. And the other thing about sports bras is if you are sweating a lot, let's face it, you're going to throw them out every year because they start to stink. I was just talking about it in the office the other day. I was like, okay, it's time for me to get a whole new set of Get Healthy You bras because mine had just kind of reached their limit from the stank standpoint. So go to that blog, you guys. And we could always put a link up, Lexi. We could even put a link up. But if you just put in sports bras, you'll get it.
Absolutely. Debbie is asking, what exercises are best to work your upper body if you have weak wrists? Yoga, push-ups, planks, and burpees tend to bother my wrists.
Aha. Well, that's pretty common. for people who have previously injured their wrists, or for people who do a lot of typing, or if you've just never engaged in body weight exercises and you're just getting started, then your wrists may not be up to the task yet. First of all, there are wrist guards out there. Sometimes they have a metal support right here. Other times they're just like some sort of a neoprene sleeve that will give you a little extra support. You might want to check into that. But the other thing is you have to just work up to it slowly. For instance, body weight exercises. The more body weight you're putting into the wrist, the more pressure there's going to be. So if you're doing a push-up flat on the ground, that is more body weight being pushed into the push-up than if you do the push-up on a chair or a table. When you're on that incline, it's less body weight. So maybe you take those kinds of exercises up on an incline. If they hurt during yoga, do as many things as you can in that wrist position, but then go down to your forearms for your down dog. Go down to your forearms for your planks. Modify so that you just take the pressure off the wrists. And we do that a lot in exercise class. I'll tell people all the time, like, if your wrists are bugging you, go down to a forearm plank. As you're starting to lift weights, one of the things you want to concentrate is keeping those wrists neutral and not letting your wrist, go the wrong way. And then really strengthening those forearm muscles, which also support the wrist. So again, you might want to just start with some wrist supports and then start with lighter weights and work your way up. That's, what I would suggest. Modifications, I always tell you guys, and I tell you this on my videos too, there is no shame in modification. What modification means, it means you're smart. It means you are listening to your body and doing what works best to challenge you.
Our next question is from Annie. She says, "Hi Chris, I'm a huge fan. I'm about 21 weeks pregnant, and I was wondering what core exercises you would recommend. I have a completely normal, healthy pregnancy, and I'm able to continue strength training and moderate cardio per my doctor's recommendation."
Fantastic. Wow, that's so exciting. A healthy pregnancy, that's great. You're halfway through. Hopefully you're through the bad part. That first trimester can sometimes be a touch and go, depends on who you are. But usually second trimester, you're feeling pretty darn good. But as that belly gets out in front of you, it kind of becomes worthless to do core exercises, meaning any kind of crunch or sit-up. It becomes very uncomfortable. You don't want to be on your back a ton. I'm sure your doctor would tell you that, in a flat position or crunching position. So you kind of have to avoid those. What I recommend are planks, forearm planks on a ball. I have a lot of pregnant women in class, so I always tell them, grab a stability ball and get up on that incline so that, first of all, your belly doesn't get in the way and you aren't down too far. One of the things that you want to be careful of is just not getting dizzy, because our hormones are kind of running rampant when you're pregnant. And when you get that heart, you never want that heart completely below that head completely below the heart, unless you're really confident that that's okay. Now, some women who have been doing yoga all before their pregnancy, the kind of rule of thumb is anything you've been doing 6 months prior to your pregnancy, you can continue doing if you are having a healthy pregnancy. So a lot of women who have been doing yoga, they'll stay doing yoga and down dog up to the bitter end. But it depends on what you've been doing for the past 6 months in terms of those positions. But in terms of core, I would recommend planking. Planking is going to be the best thing for you for the rest of your pregnancy and help you kind of support that whole core, because those back extensors are going to make a big difference. But kudos to you, because hopefully your delivery will go well from being so in shape.
All right, Georgia asked, what is your favorite place to go for a reasonably healthy, fast meal when you're out and about?
Yep. Well, okay, I often will blog about Whole Foods. I know people always say they call it whole paycheck, and they say everything's kind of expensive in there, but I go in there all the time, and there are salads. They have these salads that are 2 for $6, so they're basically $3 a piece. And they're in these containers that you think are really small until you open them up and like there's so much food in them. And then sometimes I'll go to the deli and I'll buy, recently I just Facebooked my beet burger. My Whole Foods makes beet burgers. Not every Whole Foods does, but the beet burgers are $1.99. So I can get a salad for $3, a beet burger for $1.99. That's $5, and I have a pretty good lunch. And also sometimes they have other prepackaged salads for between $5 and $7. So I love that. But if I go out to eat, like for instance with my kids, I eat at Chipotle. I tend to love Chipotle, but I do stay away from tons of rice, cheese, and all of those creamy beans and stuff. I do like the meat. I'll do the salsas, the tomatoes, the lettuce. I usually do some sort of a salad bowl at Chipotle. I have, if I'm somewhere where I absolutely have to, I'll eat it like a Jimmy John's or a Subway, but I'll have the unwich without the bread. And that would be, I guess, what I would eat. Out and about, like when I'm at the airport, it's always hard to find food at the airport. Typically, I travel with apples always in my bag. I always laugh because I carry these apples from Minnesota like around the country. Sometimes they come back home with me and I think, I just carried this apple around the world, around the country in my stupid suitcase. But hey, you never know. And I'll often bring nut butter in little packets. So when I'm traveling, I have an apple and peanut butter, or I'll bring or almond butter. I'll bring a banana with me. I'll bring baggies of carrots all the time. Did you know that you can take food through TSA? Food, not liquids and gels, but food. So I brought, all kinds of cut up veggies and cut up fruit and all that kind of stuff. Nobody ever has taken it away from me. So sometimes you just have to get creative and make sure you have something in your handbag just in case you're starving. But those are my fast food choices.
Those are great options.
I'm awfully long-winded, everybody. I'm sorry. I get so passionate to want to tell you everything that, you're probably like this. Shut up.
I think it's great. I think everyone's loving it. Since hitting my mid-50s, this is Sue. Since hitting my mid-50s, jogging and fast walking really leaves my hips aching. Plus, I hate cardio machines, so I tend to only do weights. What is a good moderate speed to set the treadmill on?
Aha, okay. So that happens to a lot of us, myself included. I did a lunch and learn last Monday. I was in Florida. I was in Miami, and I've just kind of started getting back into outdoor running. I don't run outside in the winter that much. And, I know that I have to take it easy. I can't put on too much mileage at first because then my hips really ache. I feel great when I'm running, but it's the next day where I'm like, whoa, man, what did I do? So first of all, if running and even fast walking hurt those hips, I'm going to suggest, and she's asking about the treadmill. If you don't, if you're going to go at a little bit of a slower pace on the treadmill, then take up the incline. Because the two things that will get the heart rate up are speed and incline. So if you're going to keep the speed at a certain speed, keep pumping that incline up. I promise you, it will get your heart rate up. But other machines to try would be the bike, because that's going to be easier, low impact on the hips. Even though you're moving your hips, you're not putting your body weight into it, as well as an elliptical machine. I'm a huge fan of ellipticals. We have a ton of elliptical workouts on Get Healthy U, just ones that you can print out. And again, that's a low impact workout. You're not jarring and jamming those hips. So you might want to even just venture out and try one of those two machines. If you are outdoor walking, I'm going to suggest checking out some different shoes. Because first of all, you've got to get those hips used to the walking, like add the mileage slowly. But check out, there's a shoe called the Hoka. And we just wrote an article about the best shoes for running and walking, and we put the Hoka in the article because they kind of look, my girlfriend had them, and I remember the first time she's like, look at my shoes. And I'm like, what? And she goes, look at them. She goes, they look orthopedic. I go, actually, I didn't notice them. I mean, I thought they were kind of cute. So they're really not that bad, but there are study after study about how those shoes have made a difference for people who have hip and joint problems. There's also, we live close to the Mall of America. There's a store there called The Walking Store, and they have so many different shoes that deal with different types of issues, joint issues. That might be helpful too.
All right, next question is from Eve. She says, my problem, even though I am not overweight, is cellulite. I have always had it. No matter how much I work out or how much weight I lose, it's still there. And my nutrition is full of veggies and fruit with low-fat protein. What can I do?
Okay, hold on. I just realized I can't believe this, you guys. My computer is running out of juice, so I'm plugging in. Hold on. All of a sudden, I looked at it, and I was like, are you kidding me? I'm on empty. Okay, here we go. So I heard the first part about the cellulite. What was the part about the food?
Yes. So she says, my nutrition is full of vegetables and fruit with low-fat proteins.
Okay.
So she's saying, I work out, I eat healthy, but I still have cellulite. What can I do?
Welcome to the club. Cellulite is, it's not a property of being overweight. Thin women have cellulite too. It's an age thing. I kind of joke now at 50 that, there's a certain part between the butt and the thigh that I'm not showing anybody, okay? And you guys might say, oh, Chris, you don't have cellulite. But, I do. I have a little bit of cellulite. And you know what? I just dress for success, right? You don't have to show it to anybody if you don't want to. But here's the deal with cellulite, okay? So think of the muscle fibers in your leg like this. So they're like webs. And as they get loose, if they aren't extremely tight, they open up a little bit. And even if you aren't overweight, that fat can pillow through and gives that kind of mottled look. And part of the reasons it happens is age. Part of the because so your skin is getting thinner, your muscles are not as tight. Part of it is lack of exercise if you aren't exercising a lot, and part of it is genetics. And so all those things come into play, and it can be very frustrating for all of us. Now, you look at guys and you go, well, why don't guys get cellulite? Well, first of all, guys have thicker skin on their legs. Guys have hairier legs. We shave all the hair off our legs. And guys don't wear bikini bottoms. Not most of them don't. So they aren't always showing that area of their legs. So one of the best things you can do is work on tightening those muscle fibers. That's really, so if those muscle fibers are a little weak and fat can pillow through, the more you tighten them up, then you can't pillow through. The other thing is promoting circulation in your legs. So you'll sometimes hear a lot of people who say they do like body brushing in the shower, and you want to take that massager or that loofah and you want to push the blood up towards the heart. You don't want to push it down towards your feet, but you want to massage your leg and body brush up towards the heart to promote circulation. Let's see. So good exercise for the back of the legs. You're already eating healthy. Lots of water. Stay hydrated. And then specific exercises for those back of the legs. You know what my favorite hamstring exercise in the world is? And we do it in Rock Your Body Boot Camp in the Powerball workout. It is what I call hamstring roll-ins. So when you're laying on the ground, your body is on the ground, but you put your feet up onto the stability ball, and then you roll the ball in and back. And those hamstrings on the back of your legs, it's like you feel it. That is my favorite isolation exercise for hamstrings. So check that one out. And ladies, we got to all stick together. You know what? Celebrities have cellulite. It's just that they don't show it to you. They airbrush it. So don't beat yourself up.
All right, Chris, I'm going to ask you this question because I know part of the answer. Chris, do you use PB2? I'm afraid to use regular peanut butter and almond butter.
Funny you would ask. Lexi would tell you, yes, Chris uses PB2 because we have a jar of it in the office. I love PB2. That's what I put in my shakes, but there's a couple reasons why I do. First of all, in my older years, I became allergic to peanut butter, and it's super depressing to me because I have always been a peanut butter addict, which might be why I became allergic to it, because I probably OD'd on it in my younger years. My mom used to make homemade peanut butter when we were younger, like literally homemade in the food processor. She was way before her time in terms of health, and she would put it in these jars, and oh my God, it was my favorite food. So when I eat peanut butter, I get these like white pustules on my face. So I stopped eating it. Now I can eat almond butter, no problem, and it doesn't happen. Peanuts are kind of a different type of a legume than, are kind of a different animal than like almonds and walnuts and so forth. So one of the reasons I use PB2 is because I can't eat gobs of peanut butter. Second reason I use it is to save on calories. So I do love almond butter, and I do love almonds, and I eat them during the day. So then when I'm throwing that peanut butter into my shake, I'd rather just use the PB2 to save on calories, and also because I can't eat it. Do not be afraid to eat peanut butter or almond butter because healthy fats are good for you. The key is fat has more calories per gram than other foods, so you just have to eat it within moderation. Like, for instance, almonds. Almonds are super healthy. I eat them every single day, but one serving of almonds is about 22 almonds. So if you're constantly grabbing handfuls and you're eating 50 almonds in a sitting, then yeah, that's going to be a lot of calories. So it's also about portion control. Do not be afraid of almond butter and peanut butter. But I am a huge fan of PB2.
Okay, question from Debbie. She says, hi, Chris. I have worked out with you since 2010, and I love your routines. I'm at a crossroads. I have reached that glorious time in a woman's life, which we call menopause, and I have suddenly gained 10 pounds. Neither my diet nor my exercise routine has changed, so I can't put a finger on the sudden gain. do I need to take in less calories or bump up the amount of workouts as I get older?
Could be one. It could be one of those two things or both. But I always go back to this quote. Was this Einstein who said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results? Is that how that quote goes? I'm also menopausal, so I'm not sure if I got that right. But here's the deal. When something isn't, if you're still doing the same thing, but you're gaining weight, then it's time to make a change. Anytime you're like, wait, this routine isn't working, it's time to make a change. And as we approach, menopausal years, and as our hormones are changing, which is what's happening to us ladies, we're reducing the amount of estrogen in our bodies, and other things are happening, and we're probably being a little less sedentary than we were before. Then yeah, you might get that 5-pound weight gain, that 10-pound weight gain. So here's what I would do. I would assess your exercise routine. If you were on earlier, I was talking about a friend of mine who said, hey, I've kind of put on 5 pounds and I want to take them off. I don't get what's going on. We took a look at her workout routine, and she was really doing like 2 days of high intensity. And I said, you know what, if you really are adamant about taking off that last 5 or 10 pounds, you need at least 3 days of high intensity just to get that caloric burn. You need to have at least 2, if not 3 days of strength training in there to get the muscle building properties, because muscle is going to help you burn more calories at a resting heart rate than body fat. It's going to increase your metabolism. And then talking about the food. So there are some cases where people are eating too little. They're not putting enough calories into their system, so their body is kind of in starvation mode. But reassess what you're eating, and perhaps, again, since I don't know what you're eating, perhaps if you're eating any, white flour, and sometimes white flour is really hidden. A lot of packaged chips and crackers say healthy, they say natural, they say whatever, but really all they are is processed white flour. And if there's one thing I want you to remember tonight, processed white flour is the same thing as sugar in your system. So perhaps reevaluate some of those things you're doing with your diet. I don't know if you're having extra snacks or extra, calories that you could take back. So you kind of just have to play and balance with them. But sometimes the easiest fix is getting that extra high intensity workout in for the week.
All right, we have a little less than 15 minutes left, so we're going to try to get to as many of these questions as we can this last little bit. Here are 2 follow-up questions from things that you've been saying. I'm going to batch them kind of together. They're a little similar. But Kathy asked, on the topic of grab-and-go snacks, is there a granola or protein bar that you recommend? So that's kind of one. And then the other one was referring to your eating of Greek yogurt, and if it's a problem to eat flavored yogurt. And if you're eating only plain, what are your favorite ways to liven it up? Okay.
So grab-and-go snacks. Well, again, we're going to have to take a little tour of our office, Lexi. We're going to have to, we'll do a little video of the office. So we have Lara bars at our office and Kind bars. I love Kind bars. Those are kind of my favorite. They're nuts and fruit. There's no additives, no preservative. Well, there's no chemicals, and they're sweetened through dates, mostly dates, raisins, those kinds of fruits. So I like those. I like Lara bars. Lara bars tend to be more sugary because they're more fruit than nuts. Kind bars tend to have more nuts than fruit. So I do like both of those, though. I like Quest bars. They are not 100% pure, I'll tell you that, but they are good. They're a better quality one, the Quest bars, and they come in. The thing that bugs me about Quest bars is they all come in like these flavors, like cookies and cream and cookie dough, and I'm always like, well, why do you have to call it something like that? But I'm kind of a fan of the cookie dough. Now that I mentioned it, chocolate chip cookie dough is the Quest bar that I like, and I'll buy those because those travel well. I don't like anything that has chocolate on the outside because when I'm traveling, it melts in my handbag and then it gets all, or if you take a bite of it, okay, have any of you ever taken a bite of a protein bar that has a chocolate coating and a little piece drops down on your like white jeans and then you go, oh no, I have chocolate on my white jeans. It's so upsetting, especially when you're traveling. So I tend to go with the ones that don't have chocolate coating and stuff on the outside. Okay, then the second question, Greek yogurt. So here's the thing with flavored Greek yogurt. Usually that, the flavoring is what ruins the yogurt because the yogurt in itself is a fermented food and it's full of protein. It's good for you, but look on the yogurt you're eating because sometimes it's shocking. It has as much sugar as a can of Coke. I mean, sometimes you look at it and it has 25 sugars in it and you're like, what? And sometimes it isn't actually natural fruit that's flavoring it. So I kind of stay away from, well, first of all, I don't like GMO brands of yogurt. So I use Fage, F-A-G-E, because it is not, non-GMO. I also like Greek yogurt because it's super thick. So I buy the plain and then I add stevia to it, like a packet of stevia, and then stir it in, and I love the flavor. You could add a little drip of honey or a little drip of agave, or if you want to just add real sugar, you could add just 1 packet of real sugar. 1 packet of sugar, let me tell you, is not that much sugar compared to what you find in processed foods. How do I liven it up? I love fresh blueberries and raspberries in it. I love that. I buy 65% cacao chocolate chips. So if you can find chips that are at least 65% cacao, that's what I buy. And cacao is a healthy fat, and it's good for you. It's a MUFA, monounsaturated fatty acid. So you can feel good about your dark chocolate. Sometimes I'll stick like craisins or cranberries in there, just a few, to sweeten it up. Sometimes, like in the summer, I'll put pieces of pineapple in it, which is delicious. Sometimes I'll take a scoop of PB2 and scoop it in there, and then it's peanut butter flavored. So lots of ways to liven it up.
Sounds delicious. Carrie is asking, I'm trying to lose body fat. I'm doing cardio and strength training. I wear a heart rate monitor and wanted to know what zone we should aim for. I know we should aim to burn more calories than worrying about burning fat, but I also want to make sure I'm training in the right zone.
Good girl for knowing that you don't have to worry about what kind of fuel you're burning or what you want to burn more calories. Good girl. Because people get so hooked up on, ooh, am I burning fat or am I burning sugar? And don't worry about that. Just burn it up. That's what needs to happen. If you were an athlete training for like a marathon, or you're, running a race, then you have to really be careful of which fuels, you have enough of. But for us regular people, it's just like work hard. So to that point, when it comes to zones, we are right now aerobic. All of us sitting here are aerobic. That means we're with oxygen. We can breathe through our nose. We're getting oxygen. So that would be like what we call, and it depends on who you're referencing. For instance, I think Polar heart rate monitors call this zone 2. I know at Lifetime Fitness, where I work, we call this zone 2. So then when you get your heart rate into zone 3, or the aerobic zone where you are breathing through your mouth, that's a good zone to work out in. That would be what we call comfortably hard. And so you're at a point where you have to breathe through your mouth. You can no longer keep your lips sealed, get enough oxygen to facilitate the activity that you're doing. And so that would be what we'd call zone 3. We call that a cardiovascular zone. We call that comfortably hard. It's only comfortable for those who are fit. If you are out of shape, or if you are just getting started, by the time you get to that point, your heart rate zooms because you're deconditioned. You're not quite there yet. So you're going to have to work up to that. So that's a great place to exercise. Now, when you get into that zone that you get a little breathless, and now it's no longer comfortably hard, it's just yucky hard. It's just hard, darn it. That's what we call anaerobic. That's where you're pushing yourself. And you can't really sustain that for more than, most of us, it's a few seconds. Like if you do any of my interval workouts, like the hip workouts where you go 20 seconds hard, 10 seconds rest, 20 seconds hard, 10 seconds rest. Those are those pushes to those top zones. That would be our zone 4 or our anaerobic zone. And that's where you want to go, every so often on your interval days, and that's good for you. I was explaining it today in my spinning class. So if you think of your aerobic capacity, if you're just newly starting exercising, your aerobic capacity might not be very big, where you just have this little range of heartbeats where you feel comfortable, and then you pop out of it quite quickly. But as you do intervals, you're training your heart. It's like pushing a window open to push its limits. And as you do that, that aerobic capacity becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you'll have this huge range that becomes what we call that zone 3, comfortably hard, where you can really get that heart pumping and you're feeling like, I could sustain this. I could do this for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. So that's a great place to exercise most of the time. And when you look at this zone, here's what I tell people. Since we are exercising for 30 minutes or an hour a day, or some of you maybe even 20 minutes a day, don't exercise down at this bottom part of the zone, because, you might as well up here at this top of the zone where it's comfortably hard, borderline getting up there, because you're going to get more bang for your buck. You're going to burn more calories. You're going to train your heart, with the capacity better. So I would just say get up towards that top part of zone 3 as for the shorter workouts, and then even go breathless. In those HIIT workouts, we do go breathless. It's that like a little icky. So hopefully that explains it. Now, I don't want to give you numbers because everybody's heart is different, and I will talk to people who say when they're working comfortably hard, their heart rate is 170. When I'm working comfortably hard, my heart rate's 140. So you'd go, well, why the difference? Well, everybody's heart is different. God-given genetic heartbeat. So your heart could be super small and beat fast. Somebody else could have a different size heart. Typically, your max heart rate is a God-given number and can only be altered through sometimes age and medication. So kind of own your own zone. We call it own your own zone, where you get to know where your numbers are, and that's where you should work out. But kudos for having a heart rate monitor because it really helps you. I love my heart rate monitor. I'm addicted.
All right, we have just a little under 5 minutes left, so maybe time for 2 more questions. This one is from Sandra. She says, "Hi, Chris. I love following you, your exercises, and healthy living. Do you believe all that it's true about organic living? How do I know if things are organic or not?"
Well, first of all, eating organic is really a choice. It's more about responsible farming. There's so much controversy of, is it healthier, is it not healthier? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. You form your own opinion, but it's about responsible farming. So for me, I try to eat as organic as possible. I want to reduce pesticides. I want to support farmers who are doing their best to produce organic food and not chemically induced food or pesticide induced food. So it's kind of a choice you make. There are rigorous rules for organic food. So if it says like that it's organic or it's certified organic, and you can look up these rules, you can just Google them, then you can rest assured that I think it's like 80% of the ingredients have to be organic. If it just says organic ingredients included, it could be one of the 20 ingredients that are organic. So, you have to kind of know there's different degrees of organic. Google it, and you'll see, like if it just says with organic ingredients versus certified organic, it's going to be different. Here's my other piece of advice. Just look for non-GMO. If something is non-GMO, it's organic. So I kind of just tend to eat non-genetically modified organisms so that I'm going for the, and also look for the dirty dozen. That is the dirtiest 12 fruits and vegetables. And that will tell you, like, bananas are typically not in the dirty dozen, so you don't necessarily need to spend the money on organic, although those are not that expensive. But like apples are in the top, strawberries are in the top. So you might want to go organic for those fruits, but maybe you don't have to go organic like for asparagus. There's the dirty dozen and the organic clean 15. I'm sorry, and the clean 15. So Google those, you'll see both lists.
Okay, this might be our last question, which I think is good because we have a lot of people wondering about toning. So Cynthia has been exercising to your programs for over 14 years. She says she hasn't been consistent, but she would like to get on track. What program do you recommend to tone up?
Well, toning up, the word tone is kind of an interesting word because really what you're saying is you want to build muscle. Right? You want to build muscle and sculpt your body. You want your skin to, tone up, and you want your muscles you want to build your muscles. So when she says what program, I'm thinking she means in Get Healthy UTV. I'm hoping that's what she means. Definitions is a strictly strength program. I put that one together for people who say, I don't do strength. I need more strength in my life. I'm good with cardio. I go running. I go walking. I do my cardio, but I really want a strength program. Go for Definitions. It's 100% strength. They are challenging, though. Your heart rate will get up, but there's non-plyometric in that program. So no jumping in that program, okay? Versus like Power 20 has some jumping, HIIT has some jumping. I would suggest that. If you're just getting started, maybe try the Walk and Tone Sculpt workouts where we added the sculpting in with the walking, because those would be a good way to start with the strength training. Consistency is the key to strength training. So, the best way to start to build muscle is be consistent. Start off baby steps and then, see how you're feeling and build up. I have to tell a really cute story. I know we're running out of time, but I just have to say, somebody texted me today. It was so cute. A gal I know, she's just starting strength training. She just joined GHUTV. So she says to me, I started today, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited. She was holding jars of salsa. So she goes, I was using salsa for my weights. I'm going to the store today, and I'm getting weights. So then she texts me later the pictures of all her beautiful brand new weights from Target. And I wrote back and I said, please tell me you didn't drop the salsa from your sweaty hands. She said, no, thank goodness I had no disaster there. But don't put salsa in your hands for strength training. Anyway, she has weights now. So get going, you guys. So
Great.
Are we done?
I think so.
Okay, I want to mention something to everybody really quick. I know we got to go. Lexi, thank you always for joining me. You are so awesome. Thank you all of you who actually get online and listen. I'm so thankful for all of you GHUTV members. I can't even tell you. And we're going to just continue to grow. The new program coming in April is yoga. It's a whole yoga program. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is from my friend Jennifer Gallardi, who is well known in the dance and yoga space. So that's a little sneak peek. Get ready for that. Also, we're doing a plank contest on Facebook. And in that plank contest, if you win it, you get a 30-minute FaceTime with me, as well as some other stuff. And I would love to have you win. We love planking, so it's just something fun. You have to upload your picture to Facebook, so go check that out. I'll be live Monday at noon on Facebook if you want to ask more questions. I appreciate you with my whole heart. Thank you so much to all of you who are members and who are taking that health journey seriously. And we're all in this together, my friends. So, all right, goodbye, Lexi. Goodbye to all of you. Thank you, and talk to you soon.